Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to take a quick look at a new addition to our rental case. I know, it's I won't say an older gun, it's been around for a few years, but we're going to do a quick review on it because it is actually one of the more popular handguns for 2020. It was in the top 5. Today we're going to be talking about the SIG 365. Now this one, a little different than most that you've seen. This one actually has a manual safety on it, and it is ambidextrous, so that's a good thing. I know a lot of people ask for these. They want guns that are going to have this manual safety. I am not a big proponent of it when you're looking for an everyday carry, but you know, if you're just buying something that's going to live in your safe, fine. If it's something that you're putting on your body, you're using for self-protection, my personal opinion is you don't want something like this, because a lot of people, when they push out, are not going to remember to push it down, just because they're going to grab and they're scared, their adrenaline's dumping, and they're just going to point, and it's going to have a dead trigger. The SIG P365 is a compact pistol ideal for self-defense. It's good to carry, and it's small enough to carry on, say, an ankle, or, you know, in the waistband, out of the waistband. It's nice, sleek. It does hold 10 rounds in this little mag. Overall, it's really good. It's got night sights on it, straight out the gate. There are other variants. This one is Connecticut compliant, so that being said, there's not much difference between a Connecticut compliant 365 versus other states. The main thing is it is going to be the size or capacity of your magazine. So I personally think for its size, and I'm not a fan of smaller guns, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. You can see when holding it, my pinky pretty much just hangs off. So I'm not a big fan. I like having more gun to grip, mainly because on here, right here, it just digs in on the heel of my hand. So, but in an emergency, hey, I guess I'd use it. And y'all know I'm not a huge fan of my wife's Glock 43, but in an emergency, obviously I would use it. The 365 is striker fired, so no hammer. The slide obviously is made out of metal, and the lower is made completely out of polymer, making it extremely light for SIG. Since I'm used to a 226, which is incredibly heavy compared to this is nice and light. Just throwing this in the middle. I always forget to say this, and I really shouldn't. If you want to help support me and support the channel, one of the things you can do is in the description below, you go down there and you click on that very first link, and it is for our shirts. The shirts that have the Blue Trail Range logo on the front, and on the back it says you're never out of the fight. Because remember, you are never out of the fight. Every day you're fighting for a better future for yourself, for your kids, for anything. Help me out. Help out the channel. Go buy a shirt. Alright, back to the rest of the show. So we're going to go over my first impressions. I'd never shot a 365 before, and I went down, shot this one down at our private range, and wanted to try it strong hand, weak hand, and of course normal with a good two-hand grip. Even weak hand, this wasn't that bad. It's a 9mm. Trying to shoot a 40 weak hand alone can be a little daunting. This, however, really wasn't a problem, and this is still with shoulder injuries and some sort of weird pinched nerve in my elbow, which it's kind of like tennis elbow. Yeah, I've never played tennis. So the only thing I can think of is when I am punching out, right, I tend to lift this elbow to push the gun over, just because, well, you know, a right-handed shooter always shoots to the left, a left-handed shooter tends to shoot to the right. And in case I don't get my trigger pull perfect, I like to have just a little push on there, so I'm hitting either center or center right of the target, which is pretty much where the heart would be on the target. The sights were easy, very natural when I brought it up to my eye to get it aligned. I really didn't have to do a lot of fishing. This is like your standard Glock outside of the ambidextrous safety, but with the magazine out, lock the slide, lock the slide to the rear, no magazine, nothing in the chamber. Your takedown lever is exactly the same. It's hard when you can't see what you're doing. Take that down, slide comes right off. I'm not going to tear the gun down at the moment, because I did shoot it and I have carbon all over my hands. Overall, I was really impressed with it. Don't have much to kind of wank about. The few things that I could see improvements on is the slide stop or the slide release. I don't really care what you call it. This one, it's really small. It's close. I did not have a problem actuating it barehanded, but I'm thinking with gloves on, I might not be able to get on there with my thumb adding that glove to really just push it down. I really wish they'd make it a little more pronounced versus being as subtle as it is. Along with wanking about the holdback. The other thing that I wasn't really too keen on was the safety. Outside of it being that I don't like them for self-defense, the safety itself is really small, skinny, and it feels like I'm gonna break it if I push on it too hard. It was not natural to grab it with my thumb. It being as small as it is, I really had to dig my thumb into it to push it down. I really do wish maybe it was a little more pronounced, so you could really make sure you catch it with your thumb. Just, it's hard to describe. If you're looking for a brand new everyday carry or a small backup gun for your everyday carry, I would suggest taking a good look at the 365. With that being said, if you have the opportunity to buy one without the safety, that's the one I would go for. If you had your choice between this 365 and one without it, go with the one without it. There's one last thing that you have to worry about when it's an emergency, your adrenaline is dumping, and if you haven't done your due diligence in practicing, which I know a lot of people are like that, and they're not used to selecting that safety and getting it down, that is the one thing I always fear people will forget about, and then they're going to pull the trigger, nothing's going to happen, and everything races through their mind. Is it the gun? Is it the bullet? They don't know what, but with that being said, they only have the rest of their life to figure out what it is. Versus any other gun where it is out, point, and go. Those are the ones I prefer. I am not a fan of the safety. So if you're in the neighborhood and you're in Connecticut and you have a state permit, and if we have 9mm on the shelf, then stop in and you can rent the 365 for like $10 for the day and go shoot your little heart's content out. It is not a bad gun. It's actually really good. We had two, one we kept for ourselves, one we sold pretty much the same day. The gentleman that bought it is happy with it, and I don't blame him. It is actually a fun gun to shoot. I was really worried about that recoil being so small, and it was fine. It didn't even faze me. Normally, you know how when the guns are smaller, they tend to snap a little more just because there's less gun, less weight. This felt really well balanced. So, that being said, I will see you on the trail. Stay safe in the fray.